Hello guys, Science of Aesthetics here, and today I will be analyzing top model and Victoria's Secret angel Adriana Lima. We all see her and instantly know that she is beautiful, but most don't know exactly what makes her so attractive. In this video, I will be analyzing her facial proportions and soft features to show why everyone finds her so beautiful. Let's start with the eye area. Adriana's eyes are probably her best feature, and it's clear without even taking any measurements that it's nearly perfect. Adriana has hooded light blue eyes with no scleral show and minimal upper eyelid exposure. She has an 8-degree positive canthal tilt, which is sexually dimorphic and in the ideal range for a woman. It would look slightly high on a man, but that's what makes it dimorphic. She also has very feminized and arched eyebrows with a tilt of 17 degrees. Having very positive eyebrows is a feminizing feature, and Adriana's harmonize well with her high canthal tilt, giving an overall striking model-esque appearance. Her interpupillary distance is also ideal at 45.7% of total facial width, with the ideal being from 45 to 47.9%. Her eyes are 0.94 eyes apart, which is in the ideal range. Her brows are lower set, which many people think is masculine, however is actually attractive on both genders. A lot of upper eyelid exposure is unattractive, as it makes people look older and more tired. To finish it off, she has vertically narrow eyes with a wide palpebral fissure and an eye aspect ratio of 3.26 to 1. She has virtually no flaws in the eye region, with every measurement being ideal. Next, we will look at her midface and another one of her standout features, her cheekbones. She has some of the highest set cheekbones in modeling at 92% of midface height. Her high cheekbones provide under-eye support to prevent scleral show, and is also why her canthal tilt is so high. We find high cheekbones attractive because it shows proper dentofacial development, which signifies a strong immune system. Her midface ratio is an ideal 1.06, and she has a well-proportioned nose with a mouth-to-nose width of 1.52. Women have slimmer noses than men, and her nose is feminized and harmonious. Her facial width-to-height ratio is a perfect 2.03, and her overall face shape is ideal as well as with her length-to-width ratio at 1.32. Overall, her mid-face and total face shape is flawless. Her jaw region also scores extremely high, and it is very harmonious with the rest of her face. Adriana's jaw frontal angle is 91 degrees, and her ipsilateral alar angle is 93 degrees. These are both ideal measurements, and they harmonize well with each other. They should be equal, but a 2-degree difference is still very good. Her jaw width is wide, but feminized at 83.1% of cheekbone width. Western cultures prefer a wider jaw than Asian cultures, so those in Asia would likely find her jaw too wide. She has a narrow feminine neck without looking too skinny at 83% of begonial width. She has a good-looking philtrum, with an ideal chin to philtrum ratio of 2.41 to 1. However, we see her first flaw here with her lower third proportion. From the nose to the middle of the mouth should be around a third of the lower third, while hers is 29.9%. This is slightly low, and only a minor flaw. Adriana has an extremely attractive front profile, and her harmony score is 96.7%, which is the highest I've seen. She has virtually no flaws in the front, and this impeccable bone structure has helped her ascend to the top of modeling. We will be analyzing her side next and see how it stacks up to her front. We will start by looking at her gonial angle. Her gonial angle is a bit high at 132.4 degrees. The ideal gonial angle isn't clear, with some studies saying 130 is ideal. But looking at the most attractive people, this is clearly not the case. Almost all models are around 120, and 130 just looks too high. So I consider Adriana's gonial angle a moderate flaw. Her mandibular plane angle, measuring how downswung the jaw is ideal at 20 degrees. Her gonion, where the ramus and mandible meet, is just below the mouth, which is technically ideal, but should realistically be a bit lower than hers is. Her chin and lips harmonize well, with a good mentolabial angle. Her submental cervical angle is also ideal through her low body fat percentage and genetically high hyoid bone. She also has a tall ramus, with a ramus to mandible ratio of 0.58.1. A tall ramus is considered a masculine trait, but it actually looks good on both sexes. Her chin is also past her nation, showing that she is not recessed. Her jaw region is fairly good from the side, with her main flaw being in her gonial angle. Next, we will look at her nose measurements. There are many of these, so we will only look at the important ones. She has an ideal nasofacial angle, which shows how well the nose harmonizes with the chin. Her brow ridge is feminized and ideal at 129 degrees. A woman should have a higher nasofrontal angle than a man due to her lack of testosterone, which forms the brow ridge. Her nasolabial angle is also ideal at 105 degrees, showing that she has a nice upturned nose. Next, we will take a look at the actual nose itself and analyze the straightness of it. Studies have shown this is the most important nasal feature. A dorsal hump or a bump on the nose is an unattractive trait, and especially so on women. Luckily for Adriana, this isn't a problem as her nose is perfectly straight. However, her nasomental angle as shown here is slightly low and is a very small flaw. As we will see later, pretty much all of her facial convexities are off. We will measure her lip assessments, but first we need to talk about Adriana's racial makeup. According to an ancestry test, Adriana only has 60% European ancestry, with the rest being native Brazilian or African, even though she looks fully Caucasian. Lip assessments have only been studied in Caucasian people, so for those who are mixed race, we have to judge them a bit more leniently due to differences in lip size. Adriana still does not perform very well, even accounting for her race. This is likely due to her unideal gonial angle causing problems with the shape of her side profile. Next, we can look at her facial convexities, which are also not great. She scores too low on all three convexities, which means her profile is too convex and should be flatter for a more harmonious face shape. This likely also stems from the gonial angle. If she had a sharper gonial angle, she would have more chin projection, and this would likely fix her facial convexities and lip assessments. I am being very harsh here, as she is a supermodel, but these flaws would not be noticed by the average person, most of whom believe she's perfect. Adriana's side profile scores 83.6% harmony, which is high, but not as good as her front, and this gives her a total facial harmony of 92.5%, a great score, which is only seen in the top models and actresses. In order to get a final score for her, we need to look at her immeasurables, which are as important, if not more important, than ratios. Her facial dimorphism is great, with her very upturned eyes, high-set cheekbones, feminine face shape, dainty nose, and overall soft features. To be very nitpicky, her jaw can occasionally look a bit strong from the front, and her smile, although extremely beautiful, does have a slight amount of gum exposure. She scores a 9.6 out of 10 for dimorphism. For her face shape and leanness, she scores very well. The only real flaw is the unideal shape of her side profile, as she is clearly lean. Sometimes she is actually too lean due to her insane diet of only protein shakes for 9 days before stepping on the runway. This makes her body fat percentage unattractively low, but makes her features pop more for modeling. I think we can all agree Adriana looks more beautiful normally than when she crash diets. Her face shape and leanness score a 9.4. Her hair is clearly a 10, and her youthfulness, skin, and lips are a 10 as well, as her perfect skin and full lips are evident. A cool and unique feature about Adriana is her high facial contrast. Her eyes are a light blue, and her hair is a dark black. This is a very rare and attractive feature that is also seen in top male models Sean O'Prey and David Gandy. Sean O'Prey almost looks like he could be her brother. As for looks maxing advice for Adriana, she's already pretty much perfect, so there's not much to improve. Adriana Lima gets a final score of 9.52 out of 10, one of the most attractive women in the world. If you want looks maxing advice and a full report like this, you can purchase a face rating from the link in the description. Thanks for watching.